Today in the studio, folks, I've got a real treat. Kine Corder, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Folks, you guys are going to like this episode. She's national certified counselor, hypnotherapist. I was going to say hypnotherapist. Hypnotherapist and a best-selling author. And basically, she's the world's #1 financial hypnotherapist. Basically, it's if someone can't seem to make money, can't break a cycle, can't break a ceiling, they come to you and you hypnotherapy them into making money.
Yes, that's a good way to wrap up that part of what we do. Mm-hmm.
People might know you from Oprah, right? On ABC's Extreme Makeover Show. Yeah. You've been a best-selling author since then. Of course, Oprah seems to make a million best-selling authors, doesn't she?
Or anything best-selling.
Anything she says, everyone does. You're also an international speaker.
Yeah.
Taking the stage. You're local here to Vegas, which I like.
Exactly.
I was supposed to do a session prior to this so I could talk about it, but this is even better. Why? Let's talk about it afterwards, and then we'll have you back on a second episode.
I like it.
But I'm pretty sure people are going to love this. You're also CEO of Presidential Lifestyle. Your book is called The Art of Starting Over. Her website is presidentiallifestyle.com. Your podcast, Money and Meaning with Kine Corder. Money and Meaning. And then social media, if people want to follow you, at Kine Corder. Kine, Kine.
Yes.
Corder, Corder. Cool.
Yep.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back
now,
to the office, I should say.
Well, you're welcome.
Studio.
Now, what you're trying to tell me here is if somebody's limited in their belief system, there's an underlying reason, and you talk them through it. What's a hypnotherapist do? Hypnotize me?
Good question. Yes, absolutely. Hypnotize you. We do a little talking, but especially with my men, we don't do a lot of talking. Insight is not required for hypnotherapy to work. Like, you don't have to know why this is that. You know how you've been telling that story lately about what happened when you were 6 years old and you swam so fast that they disqualified you.
Yes.
Right. So you have some insight as to what we consider in hypnotherapy as trauma, what that trauma was. What you might not have insight on is where it affected you in your life. Because getting disqualified because you did so well could create a story in your head that maybe I should be second because first gets you in trouble.
That's right.
So if we did hypnotherapy, what would happen is we identify the block, and you don't have to know what the block is. Sometimes I use symbols or colors. You don't always know what I'm doing, but I know what I'm doing. And we identify the block, and then we move to what you want. What did you want in that moment? You wanted to win, get the trophy, have all the kids be scared of you, and never want to swim against you again, or whatever the story you say. That we will create in your life because the brain does not know the difference between what you imagine and what you actually do. I was wondering if the bomb button was working. I'm glad we tested it early because I plan to beat Jeff Hoffman, who I think has the most bombs on the show. So I don't know. It was quite a bit. Like, you were really pushing that bomb button. And I was like, wow, Jeff is awesome. So going back, when we identify and then we set the new story, the brain doesn't know the difference between what you imagine and what is really happening. So now, just like that, just like magic, your brain has coded a new story. And it doesn't matter anymore what old story was there. It's just like a Word document. If you delete a sentence off a Word document and then type a new sentence and then save it, nobody ever knew the old sentence was there. And now we only read the new sentence. So that's the way you'll live your life, like the new sentence.
Do you have created sentences for people?
No, usually I'm asking you for that. So that's why.
Yeah, but what if I just say, hey, man, nothing's going to happen to me. I just want to be really rich.
Yeah, nobody's going to say that because that's just not true. And
everybody would say that.
No, not with me. That's called resistance. And I don't usually, resistance doesn't come because I know how to have a conversation with people. So yeah, you can say that. You can walk in the door thinking that. But by the time we start talking, 2 minutes in, you're like, one story that happens every single time I meet somebody, they say, I never told anybody this, but I never even told my wife this. That happens so many times. So I'm not used to resistance. I usually don't get a lot of it because people feel safe with me. And that's really what hypnotherapy requires, is you just need to be safe having this conversation, knowing that we're going to get to the bottom of what's blocking you. But if you want to heal, if you want to get to your next level, then you have to be honest. So you know how you are known as the real Brad Lea.
That's right.
Well, with hypnotherapy, you would be the true Brad Lea.
Good.
So you can rebrand yourself. I know you've been looking for your next brand, the true Brad Lea.
why do you think I'm looking for my next brand?
Because you said it on an episode. I've watched many of your episodes. I'm a fan as well as a colleague, but yeah, I've watched many of your episodes and I heard you say it. There was a guy on here talking about marketing and he was good, but he said something about the real Brad Lea brand. And I think you said you were thinking about changing it because it just kind of happened and it wasn't intentional. And now maybe you have outgrown it.
Well, it was just going to be Bradley.
Right. And somebody had it.
Yeah. Brad Pitt's not known as the real Brad Pitt.
Right.
The real was to identify the social media was official.
Right. So you're here. You got the real Brad Lea.
That's right.
Stay.
That's right. So how many people do you see a week?
Well, I don't do one-on-one anymore. I have assistant hypnotherapists that see people weekly. I do a intensive private retreat. So the people I work with are on a high level. They've made money. Money is not their problem. It is they want to make the most money. They want to get the most out of their business and they want to get the most out of their lives. And they just don't feel like they are. A lot of the people I work with have imposter syndrome. Now, they're not going to say I have imposter syndrome, but I can tell by working with them that that's really what's in the way of them getting to their next level. And so I do an intensive retreat. It's for people who need to have a quick shift or, a big shift in a short amount of time. And we spend 3 days in hypnotherapy. There are a couple of other services that come with it as well. We spend those 3 days and we go deep and you spend quite a few hours in hypnotherapy each day. And by the end of those 3 days, different person. I've had wives call me like, I don't even know this man. Like, I've just fell in love with my husband after 20 years.
Is it because you basically instill some sort of confidence or certainty into them?
Well, the way that I look at confidence is like this, especially when it comes to men. So when it comes to confidence with men, it's already there. What happens is all this programming gets piled on top of it. So you came out the womb confident. As soon as you came out, you were like, "Wow, feed me, clothe me, do whatever I asked you to do." You had confidence. And then stuff got piled on top of it. They told you what it meant to be a man, what it doesn't mean to be a man. Got to have this kind of wife, got to drive this kind of car, have this kind of house. If you didn't make this amount of money by this time, you're not a man. All these things get piled on top of it. Well, what we do with hypnotherapy is take those things off. We remove all of those things because that's what's blocking you from being confident. So as we remove those things, then your confidence just comes alive. It's already there. Everything you need, you have inside of you already. My job is to help you bring it out.
That's true. Everyone's got what they need.
Yeah.
Well, is it permanent?
Yes and no. Yes, because once you clear that, we don't have to clear that anymore. But life is life. Things are going to happen. You just have to be ready for them. And if something, let's say I'm clearing childhood trauma and then there's a fire in your house and you lose every material thing, that's a certain trauma. That will now need to be cleared because it could bring up fear in you and it could help have you hold on. And as you know, in metaphysics, if you are holding on to things, you're not letting in. And so when you have a fire, when you lose something, or just loss period, grief, when you lose something, it sometimes creates this hold on feeling. The tighter you hold on, the more you're not going to receive. And many people are excellent at giving or doing and, doing, but they're not excellent at receiving. And again, my job is to help you become an excellent receiver because all of this stuff, just like everything being inside of you already, everything is available to you. It's nothing that's not available to you. Now, this is more metaphysics, and we can go there. I don't want to get too deep. I'll stay surface. Let me swim back up to the surface. I know not everybody can go deep with the metaphysics, but metaphysics is all about how you want to feel, how you want to think about yourself, and you creating that in your life. As long as you can hold that thought, you can hold that feeling, you can have that life.
If someone just approaches you and says, I need confidence, can you help them with that? Or is it always about financial? Like this is a financial hypnotherapist.
I know, but it's never about financial. It's just,
is that why people seek you out? Because they're not making enough money?
Like I said, when they seek us out, usually money is not the challenge as much as they're looking at what they don't have, right? They have money, many of them millionaires, but they're looking at, oh, but this guy has more and that guy has more and this lady has more. I want that. I want that. I want that. So some of it is not feeling like they measure up, but they measure it by money. So they're using the money to measure that. So when people come to me, a lot of times it is because they feel like they're not living up to their potential. And usually they're measuring that by money. And if that is the case, then that's how we start the conversation. But we're going to go deeper than that. And usually we find that there's some trauma in their background. And that trauma is what we need to clear in order to get them past whatever they're holding back. Now, we work on the whole person. Our work is comprehensive. We're looking at wealth, health, adventure, love, and legacy. Because what does it matter if you make, let's just say even billions, you get billions of dollars, but your health is suffering, right? You get billions of dollars, but you can't even enjoy your life, right? You love the life you created, but you can't even live it. You have a relationship that's suffering, and the legacy that you're trying to build, you think you're working so hard for, you really don't end up building that legacy because you put too much emphasis on the money. And wealth, we focus on wealth in all of its forms, not just financial wealth.
So what's your opinion on the number one factor?
The number one factor, well, I can say the number one thing that blocks people.
Okay.
Yeah, is loneliness. They feel lonely and then they try to fill those voids. But the underlying problem is loneliness. So they feel that loneliness and then they do things to try and fill it. So it might be drugs, it might be alcohol, some sort of vice. It might be women. And the reason why I speak about men is that's my target market. That's who I work with the most in my practice. So I have other hypnotherapists that work with other target markets, but men are who I work with the most. And they'll find drugs, they'll find alcohol, they'll find work. And they'll pour themselves into work because of loneliness. They can't control the feeling of loneliness, but what they can control is getting up every morning and going back to work. That's something I can control. I'm going back to get it. And it gives them a shot of dopamine because they feel in control there. And sometimes even though they have a kid, 2 or 3 kids, a wife, maybe a girlfriend, they still feel lonely. And the reason is because back in childhood, somewhere, maybe mom and dad worked too hard and didn't pay attention to them. Maybe dad wasn't even there. Only mom was, and she had to work in order to provide. Whatever the story is, somehow they felt lonely.
Okay, and which caused what? Because right now people are going to be listening and they're like, oh, that was me. Oh, that was me. But they're not connecting like some of their limitations to it.
Yeah.
So give me some like examples of, let's say my dad worked a lot, came home, didn't really pay attention, which was my dad. What would that cause?
It could cause workaholism. One, because that's what you were shown, right? So the programming is, my job is to go to work. That's it. That's all. So it could cause workaholism. You're just going to work. You just wake up and work. And when you get home, you just veg out or, tune out. Right? That's one. It could also cause you to do the opposite because you saw that and you're like, I don't want to be that person. And so in turn, you might be, I'm not lazy, but just like work is not a priority for you. Maybe family is a priority or friends are a priority or fun is a priority.
Shouldn't they be?
All of those are priorities, but at different times of our lives. So just depending upon what your target is, and we call them targets, not goals, but just depending upon what your target is going to be whether adventure or fun or excitement or love or legacy or wealth is going to be the priority in your life.
Do you help people reach their targets?
Yes.
Hit their targets?
Exactly. That's the way we speak of it. You really are setting a target and we hitting the target. You might have more than one target, usually at least 5. Now, we find that prosperity means different things to different people, but what we are working on is trying to help you create your idea of prosperity.
Do you put people into trances?
Technically, it would be a trance, but the way that I describe it so that people understand it is, that space that when you're falling asleep If somebody called your name, you can make the choice to awaken and answer them, or you can make the choice to just go ahead and go to sleep. Well, I'm going to keep you. I'm going to hold you in that space. And, by definition, that would be considered a trance state. That's the space that I'm holding you in. It's right before sleep, but you're not in an awakened state. You're slowing down your brain waves just enough so we can access your subconscious brain, but keeping them moving enough so that you don't fall asleep, because hypnosis doesn't work as well when you're asleep. It does work because your brain is resting, but it works best right before that sleep state.
Is everyone
hypnotizable?
Yeah.
The studies say no. In my experience, yes. You just have to know what that person takes in order to be hypnotizable. So most hypnotherapists, I'm not including hypnotists, which is different. We may or may not talk about it. It doesn't matter. That stage hypnotism that happens here in Vegas or on stage, that I'm not talking about. I'm specifically talking about hypnotherapy. So with hypnotherapy, a lot of hypnotherapists are using your body to get you to go into hypnosis. I'm using your brain. So that's why I say everybody is hypnotizable. What we have to do, though, is, so the brain has what I say 3 layers. You have the conscious brain, and then you have a small critical brain in the way of your subconscious brain. Now, everybody thinks that the conscious brain is king. No, that's BS. The subconscious brain is the king. The conscious brain is like a knight. It does whatever the subconscious brain tells it to do. It just doesn't know it's a knight. So the conscious brain, I get the conscious brain out the way by allowing your brain, counting you down into your subconscious brain, but your critical brain is in the way of that. So for the people that they say are not hypnotizable, it's because their critical brains are thick. And it takes some time for that critical brain to quiet down and just get out the way so we can go down into the subconscious brain. Because the critical brain is there to keep you safe. That is its job. Thank goodness it's there. Otherwise, you go, jump off a building or do something that some people do, but do something that was going to make you die. If your critical brain is intact, then you stay alive. So we want the critical brain. We don't want the critical brain to go away, but we need the critical brain to take a few steps away when we need to change the story that's in the subconscious brain, because the subconscious brain is holding on to all of those stories. Now, what I like to
subconsciously, mind you.
Right. Subconsciously. Right. So you don't even know those stories are running in your brain and ruling your decision making. So going back to the question you asked before, if a kid is ignored, then they're going to create that loneliness, and loneliness creates the void that you have, which then makes you want to feel the void. And so you choose something, usually something destructive, but sometimes people choose working out. And sometimes just being at work and being the best at work is looked at as a good thing, but there still could be an addiction there. Then, working out, then there's healthy food. I remember personally a time when I would go to the gym twice a day. And at that time in my life, I was just ignoring all the pain. I was like, nope, going to the gym, that'll make you go away. Going to the gym because I'm getting that shot of dopamine, all the good chemicals in my brain working, and that's making me feel good. I didn't go to drugs and alcohol. In my background are drugs and alcohol. My father was alcohol. If there was something you could be addicted to, my biological father, he was addicted to it. So I have an aversion to addiction. So it makes me want to heal myself, but then it also makes me want to heal others. And I can see addiction a mile away. I can see it clearly. Most people don't see it in themselves. And so most of the traumas create a certain kind of addiction. It might be an addiction to love. It could be an addiction to food. People emotionally eat, but addiction is what I see as the trigger, the symptom that happens because of trauma. That's the number one symptom that I see.
What about people that say hogwash, nonsense? This shit doesn't work. This is hocus pocus nonsense.
Okay. So yeah. So part of me is this like spiritual being that says everybody's entitled to their opinion. Right. But then there's the other side of me that's like, let me show you. So, because you don't have to believe it for it to work. Really, you don't. Now, there's some resistance to that. If you don't fully believe it, it can take longer and it won't have as strong or as lasting impact. But you don't have to believe it for it to work. Just like you don't have to believe in electricity for it to work, right? Hogwash, that doesn't work. Plug that lamp in and let's see what happens. Or put your hand in that.
Yeah, but that right there, I wish was the case, because you'd have a line around your door.
You're saying plug the lamp in and it won't work?
No, I see your analogy that electricity is going to work whether you believe it or not. So will fire, right? Fire will burn you. If you don't believe it, stick your hand in there and you'll believe it, because it does.
Yes.
So if this works, that absolutely.
That is how absolutely.
You'd have a line a mile around your building waiting to see you, because everyone you see, bam, gets rich, bam, gets rich, bam, gets rich. It'd be like, holy shit, dude, I got to go see her.
Yeah. And less defined gets rich, because not everybody's goal is to get rich monetarily.
Should it be?
No, remember I said everybody has a different idea of prosperity. So whatever.
I agree with that. And they should, but money should be, like, in just my opinion, money should be in everybody's goal list.
It should be in the list. Exactly. And there is a number, but whether that number is $1 billion or 500,000 doesn't matter.
Yeah. But why is it? Why do people think so small?
So that's true. A lot of times people are starting small because that's believable. And you know this, I've heard you talk about it. You have to first believe it. You need those small goals. If you said $1 billion and you didn't believe it, your critical brain is going to call BS on it and you can forget it. You're not even going to make 50,000. It's going to keep you down. So you first have to believe it.
Is it always something in their past that causes it?
Yeah.
Always?
Always. Even if the past is yesterday, it's like, it's always to the past. So, but usually it's the distant past. I'm talking about 0 to 7 is where most of the stuff happens to us. And then we replay it. So here's what usually happens. 0 to 7, we observe. We observe and we are really good observers. We're just not good interpreters. So we make some interpretations and then our 5-year-old brain decides, oh, this is what it means to be loved. Oh, this is what it means to have money. Oh, this is what it means to have fun, right? That's what our 5-year-old brain did. And then from 7 to 14, we prove those hypotheses. We say, oh, let's see, was I right? Now, here's the thing. The brain is going to scan for familiarity. So it's absolutely going to prove what you said was true about love or money or adventure. And so...
Isn't that confirmation bias?
Yes. And so from 7 to 14, as you're proving, aha, I knew it. And then from 14 to 21, you're solidifying those ideas. And 21, right around 21 is when your conscious brain starts to come online. And so around 24, 25 is when your conscious brain is fully, your prefrontal cortex is fully developed and you hold in all of that crap that you created in the past life. And you play it over and over and over again. Now, because
without knowing it. That's the scary part.
And without knowing that it is harming you. Yeah. Because in your brain says familiar is good and unfamiliar is bad. And so if familiar is good, then it's going to go towards familiar and away from unfamiliar, even if the unfamiliar thing is better for you. So like there's a quote out there that says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. But that's not the definition of insanity. That's the definition of humanity. We all do it. It's no way the brain could survive if it didn't just keep doing what was familiar. And the brain likes homeostasis. It likes to go back to where it was. It likes to reset. And so if your human brain knows, if I take this same path, I'm safe. I know where all the trees are. I know where all the mountain lions are. I know this is the safe path. It's no reason for the brain to take the unfamiliar path because there are all these, what I call truths. So there's truth. That's true. I could get eaten by a lion. That's true. I could get trampled by a rhinoceros. That's true. This could happen. All these truths, but no facts. So we live our lives mostly by truths, not by facts. The truth is, yeah, my man could cheat on me. Yeah, my business could close. Yeah, my sister could, tell everybody all my business. All of those are truths. So we live our life in those truths, and that fear is connected to those truths. But the facts, none of that stuff is happening.
Do you know the difference between theory and reality?
No, tell me.
You never heard theory and reality?
Mm-mm.
So this guy basically has his kid come up and say, what's the difference? And so he says, well, go ask your mom if she had humped the plumber for $1 million. Comes back, well, yeah, she said she would. He says, now go ask your sister. Comes back, yeah, she said for $1 million, she probably would. He says, well, that's the difference between theory and reality. In theory, we got $2 million. In reality, we're living with 2 hoes.
No, I have never heard that before.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
So truth and fact. Mm-hmm. The difference is it is true you could get cheated on. The fact is you haven't.
Right, exactly. But most people live their lives in the truth. They're so scared. There's, and then they create the fact because what you focus on expands.
They create the fact falsely.
Yes, exactly.
In some cases.
They create the fact falsely, and then they create the fact in real life because what you focus on expands. So if you're focusing on this truth, this fake truth, then it creates in your life because your brain has to make you right. That is the brain's job. It will make you right. So if you say, I can't close people who are older than me, right? When I was a financial advisor, that's one of the thing the younger advisors used to say, that guy's too old. He's not going to respect me. If you say that, absolutely he won't, because he can feel that. He can feel that you don't deserve his respect, or at least you don't think you do. And so you're going to get what you create.
What about in the opposite where like some guys think, oh, there's no way my girl would cheat. And then they come home one day with full-on belief, never in a million years would she cheat. Walks in, buns up and screaming with the neighbor.
Bottom line is they didn't believe it.
I know, that's my point.
Yeah.
So, you mean they didn't believe that she wouldn't?
Right, yes, exactly. So that might have been the words that were coming out of their mouths, but what is the feeling? The feeling is he might have been saying those words so he can get himself to believe that, or the guys listening to believe that he had that much power or control. But deep down inside, that wasn't what he was creating.
That subconscious.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's where I'm driving, because folks, you guys need to pay attention to subconscious. The reason it's subconscious is because it's below awareness.
Exactly.
And that's what makes it dangerous. Because you can go your whole life thinking, oh man, I'm not that way. Oh dude, I don't believe that. In reality, you do. You just don't know it.
You don't. And you ended up programming, is what we call it. You end up programming other people because your subconscious program, and the people that I see get programmed the most is kids. Their parents pass down this same BS. And when I say BS, you probably think I mean bullshit, but I really mean belief system. So the same BS gets put, but there is, our belief system is full of BS. So I mean both, but this BS gets poured into children because their parents don't know any better. They don't know they have this belief system, and they believe it because they have now solidified it. They have plenty of proof that this is the way the world is. And because they think they're protecting their kid, they're preparing their kid for the world, they're passing down that same belief system. Whether it's how you eat, how you get money, how you love, all of that is passed down. Now, what happens when teenagers, that 14 to 21 space, they are now deciding, was I right? Did all that stuff that I got, was that right? And they're now trying to figure it out and prove it and solidify it in their brains. And they look at their parents and they start to see the facts, and they're like, ooh, that life, I don't want that life. You're stressed. You don't know yourself. You trying to control things you don't control. I don't want that life. And they rebel. And then parents are trying so hard to get the kid to program. And they see it as, if I can't program my kid, I must not be a good parent. Now, nobody is actually saying those words, but that's what is happening. If I can't program my kid, I must not be a good parent. And the kid is saying, why would you want me to be like you? You are unhappy. I don't want to be like you. I want to be happy. And so the kid rebels and tries to live in that subconscious brain, because remember, they don't have a conscious brain yet. And they try to live in that conscious brain, and parents keep pouring in the BS until they can't fight it anymore. And then they become just like their parents.
So do people come to you for like help with that type of thing?
Yeah, lately, especially lately. So I started my practice in a city called Peachtree City in Georgia. It's a affluent city in Georgia. And I was working with teenagers, and then their parents, high achieving parents, started to see the work that I was doing. And so they started to come to me. And then it specifically came to men. All the men in the neighborhood wanted to come and get to their next level. And all the women were sending their men because they're like, did you hear what happened to John? You know? And so they're like, you need to go see Kiné. And so I started working with the men and getting them to their next level, and they have more money and they have more love and they're having more fun and they're just loving their lives more. And so then we went kind of corporate and we started working with CEOs and their employees. And then wrap back around, lately, the teenagers are calling again. It's just like this pivot that this business has taken. Teenagers and parents are calling again saying, hey, I heard what you did. Can you do this for my kid? Or, hey, my kid is in this position. Can you help them? Now, here's what happens. Parents usually call saying, basically, something is wrong with my kid. That's really what they're saying. Hey, can you help this kid? Something's wrong with them. They're freaking out. They're rebelling. They're doing these things. And really what I have to end up telling them is, this kid is perfectly fine. Nothing is wrong with this kid. This kid is living. It wants to live this life. It knows what it wants. It just doesn't want to be programmed. And then parents are like, what? And then that's when I kind of end up reprogramming the parent as well. Because if we can let our kids stay in subconscious brain, master their subconscious brain, manage their subconscious brain, they don't need to be reprogrammed. They won't need hypnotherapy then, because they will already have the life that we have been working so hard for. But we don't know any better. So we tell our kids, do what I say. And then they say, okay, I will. And we want them to do as I do, which is not exactly what they want for their lives. And just like that, they lose the happiness and gain the stress. They gain the frustration. They lose their control. All the control you have when you have management over your subconscious brain, you lose it once you focus and give the power to the conscious brain. Can
you teach someone how to access and change the subconscious?
I can teach it. Yeah, we do a self-hypnosis. Outside of the work that I do one-on-one, we also have virtual, which, because we're moving over to light speed.
About time.
So, yeah. So, and the work that we are going to do with using light speed, it's going to be the recordings for the teenagers. So in my experience, children are the easiest to hypnotize. So that's who I enjoy showing how to access their subconscious brain. One, because they already live in subconscious, which is why they can imagine being a fireman and they can imagine going to space, and you can't tell them they're not going to do it because that's where they live. So children are very easy to hypnotize and teach to master their subconscious brain. And then, believe it or not, men. Now, women would normally think that women would be better at this, but it's not true. Men are better at hypnotherapy than women are, because men like a step-by-step process and women are less linear. They're like, oh, let's go over here and then go over there, and kind of laissez-faire with it. But because men are very like, what's next? What's next? What's next? Tell me what to do and I'll do it. I just want it to go away. Men are solution-oriented. They do really well in hypnotherapy as well. So we use our Breakthrough to Clarity system with teenagers and men mostly because they have a propensity for soaking up the management techniques that it takes to let your subconscious brain lead you, but put the right information in. You talked about this earlier, so we can wrap this back around to that question. It is about putting the right information in order to get the result out.
Pay attention, folks. That's true. It's what you put in there.
Yeah.
If you just did a course, how to hypnotize yourself subconsciously to get anything you want in life, I bet you'd sell a shit ton of those.
Yeah,
male and female, like it doesn't matter. Teenager, parent, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
why? Because
exactly.
people want what they want, and they're conscious of that,
Yep.
but they're just not conscious of why it's not happening.
Exactly. And which is fine. And like I said, insight is not required. So it can happen by recording. So we have 3 ways of learning, and one is recording, one is in group, and one is in one-on-one, which the biggest transformations happen when you do all 3. But let's say you just got the course only, and we call it a virtual guide, and we guide you through that hypnotherapy session, right? And it's going to be about 12. I see the biggest change around 16 hours of hypnotherapy. But in one session there, I've worked with people in one session there, completely different people, or the trauma, the thing that they have. Because sometimes people come and they have something that they are trying to overcome, and they need to overcome it like right now because they're about to go into a meeting, or they're going to, whatever. They have something coming up and they need to overcome it right now. So people use hypnotherapy for that. But when it comes to trauma and clearing trauma, the audios, playing those over and over again to sink it down into your subconscious brain, because time and repetition is the way the brain works, like you learned your ABCs, or a catastrophic event. So like maybe you liked to eat something and then you ate it this one time and you got really sick and you never wanted to eat that thing again. That was the brain learning fast. So your brain learns slow and the brain learns fast. The recorded version is teaching your brain slower, but it will happen, and it happens effectively. And when people do that, what happens is we're looking for three things. One is the identify. What is the feeling that you have right now that is not serving you? Right? Every time I go into this meeting, I'm scared, or every time I go, I feel anxiety, or you really want to name it, because if you can name it, you can tame it. So we name it. You give that feeling that you don't like a name. And then the next step, what we're doing in those audios, is we are identify how you want to feel. What is the feeling? Name it. Is it peace? Is it confidence? Is it, pride? I want to feel proud about myself, whatever it is. So you have those two. You identify the feeling you don't want. Identify the feeling you want. And then the next part is the T. We call it the IT formula. Tame your brain. And that's what the audios help you do. Tame your brain. Because every time you walk in a room, and let's just say, like I said, when I was working with Morgan Stanley, a lot of the young advisors used to get scared to have an older client. So let's say every time you go into a meeting with an older client, you get this fear, you get this anxiety. You're going to identify that's the fear. And we're going to teach you how to turn down that fear. And we're going to teach you how to turn up that pride. How proud of all the things you have to be proud of. So we're going to clear all the things that made you scared, all the things that made you fearful, and we're going to add in and really pour into you all the things that make you proud, because there are some things that you've done that made you proud. So we're just going to amplify those. So those are bigger, because right now the things that make you scared are bigger than the things that make you proud. And we're just going to turn those down and turn these up. And then we're going to do that over and over and over again. And every time we do it, it solidifies in your brain how proud you are of yourself. So then you can walk in that room and you can tell that man, and he might say, "Kid, I got stocks older than you." And then you say, "Well, good. Now it's time for me to show you what's new. Do you have any cryptocurrency?" Right? You don't have to be afraid of him.
How do you clear it? Just by talking about it?
Remember, I said the brain doesn't know the difference between what is imagined and what is real. So if you tell the brain the new story, so let's take a real story that's happened in the past.
Let's use mine.
Okay.
Let's do me a little mini session.
Okay. So the story with the swimming.
Yes.
Right. So we go back and I have you tell me that story. So this is one technique I use. And so tell me that story now.
They put me in swimming, 6 years old. I'm supposed to be in this freaking guppy league. That's where you start. They put me in. We go to a swim meet, and I freaking crush every kid in the deal by swimming at a certain, speed. Well, my dad was there, and I was disqualified because I swam too fast, essentially. They said, he's not supposed to be in this league. He's not supposed to be in this class. He's too fast. He's too good. And so they disqualified me. My dad got pissed and basically, stormed out. But at the end of the day, I don't really think it affected me. But according to you, it may have. Yeah. But that's the story. Ultimately, I got disqualified for being too fast.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. What did it feel like to win?
I don't know. I didn't win. I got disqualified.
Right. Yeah. So you don't know how you might have felt in that moment. But what would you have liked to felt? What if you got to do it all over again and the disqualification didn't happen, you smoked those kids, what would you have liked to happen? Tell me that story. And tell me like it's really happening.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe win, have everyone cheer. the adoration of the crowd, the attention from my dad. Who knows? Like the proud from my dad.
You know.
Well, I'd have to think about it.
Okay.
Is that what you do at these sessions?
Yeah, we can think about it.
You just chat?
Mm-hmm.
Just talk?
For about 15, 20 minutes, and then the rest of the time we spend in hypnosis.
Is it ever where I'm laying on a couch with my eyes closed, listening to a soothing voice?
Yes, most of the time is that. You're going to spend most of their time laying on the recliner on the couch, listening to my voice as I walk you down this story. But what needs to happen first is let's get clear, and let's say that didn't bother you. It didn't have any effect on your life. But let's say if that was your son, what would you like that story to be like for him?
Well, that they wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, of course, because it wasn't fair. Like the guy who brought you the trophy said, that wasn't fair. He righted a 20-year-old wrong or 40-year-old wrong.
That's right.
Yeah. So,
in my opinion.
Right, exactly. So like it shouldn't have happened. So if it shouldn't have happened, what could have happened? What are some options that could have happened? Son wins, smokes all the kids.
End of story. Like to me, dude, listen.
But how do wins usually end? When yesterday we were watching the
medals.
Knicks, yeah.
Everybody applauding.
Yes. So if we were going into hypnosis,
fanfare.
Imagine the fanfare. And we can just see it. We can see the fans going wild. Even the other kids are like, oh my God, you're amazing, right? All of that adoration and the confirmation that doing what you did was the right thing. In the other story, there was some wrong. They wronged you. Not only did they wrong you, they could have made you believe that there was something wrong about what you did.
Being too good.
Exactly. Because in being too good, you get disqualified. Or being too good, you get in trouble. Or being too good, you cause your father to no longer believe in you. Or I can't even do this. It's too much. Right? We don't know what response he had.
Or even you could die.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because the strongest is survival.
And that's what the brain thinks. That is the absolute what the brain thinks. Now, in real life, we know it might be, I'll lose the girl or whatever. But to the brain, it's die. You will die. If this happens, I'll die. That's the way the brain looks at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so even if we don't think something affected us, it doesn't mean it doesn't. It just means we are willing to push past it.
How can we identify if we have issues? If we have any kind of dissatisfaction in life?
Yeah, exactly. If you feel, I call it the icky feeling, but that's probably not the technical term, right? But if you feel and you're like, I don't like the way this feels, it is nothing wrong with not liking the way you feel. Let me tell you the worst programming ever. And it's a recent programming, but I hate it. And it is, you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. No, you do not, because that is not the way metaphysics works. That is not what the universe asks you to do. The universe says, find your happy place, find that good feeling and then multiply that. If you get comfortable being uncomfortable, you are not going to create in your life what you want. You will create more discomfort. I know what the saying is trying to say.
Not only that, it's not possible. As soon as you're comfortable, you're no longer uncomfortable.
Exactly. So, yeah, I know what they're trying to say, but it's ridiculous and it's more programming, which is what has us messed up now. Let's stop with the programming. This American dream conversation is dead. And we can have a moment of silence for it if you need to, but it's dead. That is hard work is not the key to success. Thank you. It's about time we end it and just let it go. You can work well, you can work smart, you can work a lot of different ways, but hard work, I know a lot of hardworking broke people.
So do I. Most of them are broke.
Yeah.
The hardest workers have the least amount of money.
Yes, exactly. And we can name them.
But some people want to define hard work as time. Because again, writing a book for 18 hours in my book is not hard work. That is tedious, maybe. Yeah. It's monotonous.
Consistent.
It's freaking mentally challenging, But I wouldn't consider that hard work. Hard work, you better be getting some blisters. You better be working, hurting afterwards.
Yes, afterwards, exactly.
Physically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So really what they're saying is consistent work. They're saying creative work. They're saying work well. Those are some of the words that we use in hypnosis. That's what you're doing. You're not working hard, because the harder you work, the more likely you are to push the money, the wealth, the success away from you.
Okay, so if I would have came into the session prior to this, here's what I would have said. I would have said, I think I should be making way more money than I do, and I should have way more than I have.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. Absolutely,
So
I agree with you.
Why am I that way?
So
Now, I don't want to be programmed to be happy where I am.
Absolutely.
I want to lift what's stopping me so I can get what I think I deserve.
Exactly. And the first part is, let's be grateful for this discomfort, right? This discomfort let me see that I don't want to be here. I want to be here. So the discomfort is helpful. The discomfort says, get the heck out of here. Don't be here. Don't get comfortable being uncomfortable. Yeah. Get out of here. And so we're going to identify that's the way you feel. And then the next step is, well, where is it that you want to be? Where is it that you're going? What is the target, right? If the target is $1 billion, I'm just throwing anything out there, the target is $1 billion, then we look at the question, we answer the question, what would it take? What would it take? And a lot of times people think, go back to the hard work, right? Stop that. Let's just get imaginative. You might say it takes me meeting Oprah. We talked about this earlier. We meeting Oprah, and then she deciding, I like her, I like him. I'm going to endorse his product. And then next thing you know, $1 billion, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be hard work. You just have to decide, answer that question. What would it take? It
would take 3 times my revenue here and then selling this place.
Okay. So 3 times the revenue is selling. And
3 to 4 times the revenue.
What's in the way of 3 to 4 times the revenue and selling? What's in the way?
Nothing.
But there has to be, because it hasn't happened yet. So let's imagine.
Things take time.
Okay. So time is in the way.
No. I think if I'm thinking about it, lack of human capital, lack of talent, lack of people.
Got it.
Like I need a bigger team.
Bigger team or the right team?
Bigger and smart.
Right. Okay. Bigger and
smart. I've got good people on my team, but not enough. Just not enough. And quite frankly, not in all areas. Meaning like if I come into your meeting and help you build your VT, it'll be probably twice as good as if I'm not there. Now, twice as good compared to what? Well, twice as good as compared to, financially, anybody even knows, like why you do that and why did you do that and how come you didn't do that and why didn't you do that? Well, that's just all creative.
Nuances.
And because I've done it 20 years, I think about these things. But when my team, handles it from A to Z, I'll look at the VT like down the road and I'll go, why didn't we do this? 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 Which would have made that client and us 10 times the money.
Okay.
But I can't be in every meeting. We have thousands of clients. So
you can be in every meeting.
I cannot.
Let me tell you how.
How?
You clone yourself. And I know you think.
That's what I based this whole company on.
Right. And you haven't cloned yourself. That's what the bottom line is. And part of the reason why you haven't is because the Brad Lea is a character, right? Part of that is a character. And that character is ever evolving. And when it's evolving, you're not passing that part down. So you pass down the package, right? You pass down, I like to use like a car analogy, the standard. You pass down the standard package, but you didn't pass down the luxury version of Brad. If you pass down the luxury version, then everybody that works with you is going to be the luxury version. What we need to do in our work, what we will have, block whatever story you're telling yourself as to why you haven't passed that down.
How many sessions are we going to need to do?
My instinct says 6.
So if someone hears this, calls up, gets through your application and gets accepted, because you don't accept everybody,
Right.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, I'll work with you. Now, 6 sessions, and they literally could be everywhere they wanted to be in life, just from going and solving, or let's say clearing.
Yes. That's
Now, when you say clear, like, how do you clear just by talking about it? Are you familiar with Scientology?
I'm familiar with it. No.
They say clear. Why? Well, because I study a lot of different religions, and they say clear because you're getting a charge from a mental image, whether it's,
That's a great way to explain it. Basically, you're clearing it because you just tell the brain a new story.
So your brain will not ever revert back to the truth.
No.
Because the
No,
truth
that
the truth is I did get disqualified, regardless of what I'm
Yes.
telling myself.
But that's the brain only knows the story you're telling it.
That's the part.
it.
That's the part I got to work on because that's
You don't have to do the work.
I know, but I'm common sense. Like you can tell me this didn't happen when I know that it did, and you can tell me it didn't happen, but it did happen, and I'll always remember that the truth is it did happen. So like, hey, fire doesn't burn you. Well, you can tell me that, but my brain's not going to believe it. Why? Because I got burnt.
Right. But aren't there people that walk on fire? Right. They are workers.
Well, sure.
That's a thing.
But
So you got burned by the fire. It doesn't mean that fire will burn you. You got burned by the fire.
I know,
so
but how do
now
I
we're gonna
change that?
You don't do that. Hypnotherapy does that.
I got
You're
you.
relying on yourself in places where you could just rely on the power of the tool. And that's part of the block.
Yeah.
Is you relying too much on yourself. If you are working more than the person, let's just say you have a person in mind that you're like, okay, that lifestyle, that would be the lifestyle I want. If you see yourself working more than that person, it's like, okay, what is the story I'm telling myself that makes me come back into the office? Because there's a reason why I'm back in this office, and it is not, I didn't make an extra $100 million. So what's the story I'm telling myself, and how is that in the way? That's what's in the way. And that's what gets cleared.
Do you always find what's in the way?
Yeah.
Just through talking to them and bringing them back there?
Yes.
I had someone, I forgot where she was from. I think Bali.
Ah.
But a friend of mine or someone I knew said, I'm going to pay for this. And I said, okay. So we had to do it virtually. But that's really what she did. She said, get somewhere quiet, ask me questions. And how'd you feel about that? And I went back but she was having me just say what was in my mind.
Yes.
And there was some weird shit in there. Like, it was like, why are you, I'm thinking in my head, well, why am I thinking of that? And
you can't question it because the brain knows. You have to trust your brain.
Yeah, but it wasn't true what I was thinking.
It doesn't matter.
Like I had myself in some sort of bar where like I, was getting bullied, smashed a big beer glass over his head. Then I got hit by a truck, and it was like all this shit never happened. And then she said, now think about like almost like how. What would you have wanted? And I would have wanted this. Well, okay, so think of that. Think of that.
Yeah. So
but it's almost like I don't know that it worked. Why? Well, because first of all, I know that shit didn't happen. Like if I say right now to you, think of a big purple gorilla with a sledgehammer smashing your car. Can you picture it? Doesn't mean it's going to happen.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But that's not what hypnotherapy is. So one,
but I just
did that in conscious brain.
Right. But you just told your brain that would happen.
I just told my conscious brain that was possible.
Okay.
But now my subconscious brain. So we're in conscious brain right now in this conversation. And it sounds like a lot of what was happening when in this particular session that you're talking about, you were in conscious brain.
Probably.
So she didn't pull you down into subconscious brain far enough, which is fine because some things can happen in conscious brain, like that story, that we can use to bring you down into subconscious brain. So the story of, because those are symbols there. Now this is more Jungian, and this is not just so there are hypnotherapists, and then there are clinical hypnotherapists, which is what I am. I am a trained therapist. So I know theory, but I know what symbols mean. So if you are in a bar, I'm known to ask certain questions to ask you, what does that bar mean?
Dude, I want to like go set my appointments. Like, let's
See?
go. I want to hurry up and do this.
Yeah.
Have you heard of body dysmorphia?
Yeah.
Explain what that is.
So body dysmorphia is really when you see yourself a certain way. Now, regardless of how your body really is.
Good or bad?
Yeah, good or bad.
See, I think I have that.
And you see yourself.
Well, like I take off my shirt sometimes and I look in the mirror and I think, God damn, that's pretty, not goddamn like I'm ripped because I can clearly see that I'm not. But I think, that looks pretty good. And then like other people are like, no, it doesn't. And I'm like, dude, is it the mirror? Why do I look pretty decent? Like right now, I think I look pretty decent.
Yeah. I don't think that's body dysmorphia. One, I think is part of that is acceptance. Like you have accepted yourself where you are and this is good for you. So
yeah, but it looks pretty good.
Yes.
Like I look at some dudes, dude, put your shirt back on. If I take my shirt off, there's people that I know that will say, dude, put your shirt back on. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude?
You see this?
And when I look in the mirror, I totally see like pretty fit. Like,
right.
But I'm not always. So what is that?
That is belief. That's your belief system. And that works for you. But it could be the opposite. You could take your shirt off and not like yourself. And your wife and your wife could say, babe, what's wrong? You look great. And you could say, no, I don't. Don't you see this? And she's like, no, I don't actually. So it really just it's your belief system. And your belief system right now is that you look good. And that is all that matters. Because that's all we're working on is the belief system. As long as the belief system is working for you, it doesn't matter the rest of it. That's why your idea of prosperity just needs to be yours. It doesn't have to be what some other guy had.
Does it need to be clear?
Yes, it absolutely has to be clear.
Because I tell people, listen, get clarity.
Exactly. That's the name of that's the work we do. Break through the clarity.
Well, yeah, because if you get clarity, like I always tell people, look, it's not rocket science how you get rich in my book. And I'm speaking consciously. You figure out where it is. Rich is like, again, what's rich? I know people that make 250,000, dude, they think they're freaking killing it. And I'm like, oh my God. Like if I made 250,000, I'd be in trouble.
Yeah. I have a friend whose bills are about $250,000 a month. So he'd be in big trouble.
Big trouble. So, but these people think they're successful. So that's not that they're not, it's what they think. But point being is you have to know what it is, right?
Yes.
So get clarity on where you want to be and then just break it down on a daily basis to choices, because really it's just choices.
Yes, it is choices. Now, here's the thing, though. This is where hypnotherapy comes in. Your subconscious brain is making those choices for you. But if you can manage and clear the negative out of your subconscious brain and work those like maladaptive thoughts, those old stories, and get new stories in there that are serving you, then it's choices that will put you in. To answer that question, what will it take and what's in the way?
Now, does the subconscious mind make the choices or influence the choices?
I guess you could say make the choices, because even if you don't want to do something, like have you ever experienced where you're like, I know I shouldn't eat this. I know I shouldn't eat this. I know I shouldn't eat this. And your subconscious brain is like, oh, we're eating this.
Yeah, but that's not your subconscious. It's your conscious.
No, it's not. Your subconscious brain is what has you eating that thing.
Then how do you hear it if it's subconscious?
You can hear your subconscious brain. You're just not conscious of how to manage it. The management of it is really what's subconscious, because you are hearing, I shouldn't eat this. I shouldn't eat this. That's the louder voice, right? That's the voice that's the loudest. And the voice that is small, that still small voice inside of you is saying, eat it. You'll love it. It's going to be so good. And then you're like, you're right. I'm just going to eat it. Right.
But isn't that a conscious choice?
At some point, the choice does become conscious.
Yeah.
But the making of the choice, when you are eating it, sometimes you're already 3 bites in and you're like, oh my God, I know you have experience being down the street and you're like, oh my God, how did I get here?
Right.
Yeah. You made a conscious choice to drive there, but somewhere in there, you were in your subconscious brain.
Well, and again, I'm not arguing with you. I'm not educated. Just for the record, I didn't go to school. I question shit. And in my mind, I think the subconscious influences your choices, but I don't think it makes your choices.
I think it doesn't matter.
Like, for example, sometimes I'll eat the frickin' donut and then sometimes I won't. Why? Well, because I've decided, I made a choice, I ain't messing around. So I don't mess around. And then I get in shape and then I start looking at myself going, dude, you look pretty good. You can have a donut because I believe once you're in shape, you can eat like shit more often.
Belief system. Mm-hmm.
Right. And then guess what happens? I start to believe that and then I look like shit again.
Exactly. But that's still your subconscious brain. It's where the belief system lives.
Yeah. But through the repetition, I'm starting to realize that's not true. Okay. Yeah. You need to maintain consistency if you want to maintain a certain look and or body fat percentage or income level or relationship level. You know, there's a lot of people afraid to blow out a girl or a guy when it's obvious they should blow that fucker out.
What does that mean?
Blow them out. Get rid of them.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, like I get people that call me and I'm no marriage counselor, but tell me about it. Well, then we're not married. It's, I got a girlfriend and she says this and she does this and she does that. I'm like, dude, listen, if that's true, this is what I would do.
Yes.
And I say, bang. And then they just refuse to blow them out.
Yeah, because it's the subconscious brain. And the question is, why are you attracting that? Or
my question would be for them, why do you think you don't deserve better than that?
Exactly.
Like, to me, that's what the subconscious is doing. It's telling you, dude, you're not going to get any better than this, bro.
Yes,
you better not lose her. I'm telling you, she's going to be the best one you'll ever get when you know that's not the truth.
Exactly.
Like, my dad told me when I was little one time, I was all butthurt about, I broke up with a girl and got all freaking crying and boo-hooing about it. Thought I loved her. I was like 8. My dad said, girls are like buses. If you miss the 8 o'clock, the 8:15 will be coming pretty soon. So don't worry so much because you missed the bus. And ever since then, I started every time, like, if I'm breaking up with a girl, I feel, I don't want, and I think, 8:15 is coming. Yeah. So I go, okay. And then like I can break up and not panic and stalk her and, feel all lost without somebody.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of people that will feel lost without somebody.
Yes. And that goes back to that loneliness.
I think that's the subconscious part is making you feel lost when you shouldn't.
Yes. But so you shouldn't. Maybe that is true. But the truth is you do right now. That's your truth. And so let's look at the facts, right? That is what you drew into your life. And that's why for a reason, because there might be something in your past that you need to clear, first of all, but 2, there is something in your past that you are repeating. So I guarantee that girlfriend is the microcosm of your life. Like somewhere she shows up somewhere in your early years, whether it's a sister or, grandmother or something, that girl shows up. And what really shows up is how she made you feel. So maybe she made you feel smart, or maybe she made you feel dumb, but so did the grandmother. So you repeated that in your life because to your brain, that is love. That is dysfunctional love, but to your brain, that is love. And that's what you're going to repeat until you learn love differently. See, that's the thing. You talked about clarity. People say, life is showing me a lesson or teaching me a lesson. Life is not teaching you a lesson. Life has so many more things to do than teach you a lesson. That is not what life is about. Life is trying to give you the most amazing experience you can have. That is what life is about. And you are not clear. And so you say, I want this and I want this, I don't want that. You're so confused inside your head. And life is just trying to get clarity. It's like, this girl? No. They want like this. Oh, this girl? So it keeps showing you what you're saying, what you are asking for, helping you see what you're asking for. And you get the discomfort so that you can keep asking. It's okay. Like you said, it's okay to blow somebody out of your life because you are now getting more clear and more clear on what truly makes you happy. And I say make you happy lightly because happiness is within, inside job. So nobody's making you happy, but they are living up to that happiness that you created inside of you and not taking it away from you.
Do you think you choose to be happy?
Yeah, it's a choice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's part of the belief system. If you can get the happiness belief system working for you, then the rest of it just shows up.
Is it possible people get this help subconsciously? In other words, they didn't go seek help, that no one educated or schooled fixed it. It just fixed itself.
Yeah, that's the time and repetition. So like I said, your brain learns two ways, either hypnotherapy or a catastrophic event, right? Fast or slow, the time and repetition. By the 18th girl that breaks your heart, you finally get it. It's like, oh, let me stop. I got it now. This girl, that's why people on their fourth marriage are like, finally, my karmic debts are paid and now I'm in love, real love, and they love me the same way back.
That's good. You should help people try and figure out what they want too, because a lot of people I notice don't even know what they want.
Yeah, and that's the easy part. That part is easy. I can do that. I'm not usually the people's first rodeo, though. By the time people come to me, they've tried a lot. They've done a lot of things. They've dealt with a lot of discomfort. And by the time they come to me, they're ready to get to work. I don't plant seeds. That's what we talk about a lot. I don't plant seeds. I harvest them. So in life, this is 3 types of people. And you are this type of person. 2, you're a harvester. You don't have time for planting seeds. That's not what you do. So some people in this world, especially in this self-development industry, are seed planters. That's what they're there for. Those are the motivational speakers. Forget motivation. That's nothing. We go to sleep motivated. So yeah, seed planters. I don't work with those. Then there are the waterers. And those people are the people who sell all the courses and they water the seeds because the seed was already there. That's why the person went searching for the course. And they took the course and they got it watered, but they didn't really do anything. The harvesters, that's what I do. I harvest so that you start to see things come to life in your life. Yeah, no seed planting, no watering. That's for beginners. We are harvesting.
So if somebody's listening to this and they're like, dude, I'm calling Kiné. Damn. I'm calling Kiné right now. I want more money. I want more love. I want more whatever. And they can identify it. Would you say your success rate is over 90%?
Yeah, over 90% easily. So
anyone listening to this is thinking, even for a minute, man, I'd like to dive deeper into this. You're saying 90% of you that come to my door, I will get you everything you're wanting with hypnotherapy.
Those are not my words. What I say this is I get you to the place where 1, you can identify, 2, you can set an intention, and 3, my work is to help tame your brain. Now, if you don't complete all your sessions, if you don't do what we call field work, what you do outside of session with me, if there are a lot of things that you're not doing, it's not going to happen for you. But how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you half step or if you put all the responsibility on me, it's not happening. Any way it goes in life, I'm not going to chew your food and eat it. If I eat the steak, I'm going to be full, not you. Every single hypnotherapy session I do, I become a better person. Yeah. So please come to me for hypnotherapy because every time I do it, I'm receiving it too. But if you don't receive it, if you don't chew and swallow it and digest it, then no, you're not. But if you come, then do it. Are there people who don't? I have a guy who sat in session. We did about 2 sessions in and I had a conversation with him. I said, you know what? Here is the problem that you don't want to say. You don't like your life. And he says to me, how could you say that? I can't believe you said that. I didn't say you didn't love your wife. I didn't love your kids. I said, you don't like them and you don't like your life. You don't like what you created. And it's okay to say it. And you don't want to say it because he didn't want to say it. Which stops it. Exactly.
Because you got to be honest.
You had to be honest. And he didn't want to. So he fired me. He was like, I can't do this anymore. Blah, 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 whatever. He walks away. A couple of months later, and he calls and he's like, man, you were right. It just hit me. I just had a breakthrough. Right. And that's what we do. Breakthrough to clarity. Now, you're not always going to have a breakthrough the first moment that you decide to do this because reverting or relapse is part of healing. A lot of people don't like relapse or don't like reverting. It's part of healing. It helps you know, 1, I came really far. You can't go back if you didn't go far, right? So it allows you to be proud of yourself. Wow, I came far. How did I get back here? I'm not coming back here anymore. And then you go even further. So it's like it catapults you. But you have to be willing to go through the whole process, just like working out or getting a haircut. In the middle of a haircut, it looks awful. But if you let the barber finish, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. So, and that's what a lot of times people come and they want somebody else to do the work. I'm the hypnotherapist. The hypnotherapy is amazing. It's like magic. I can't even believe I get to do it. But if you're not willing to do your part, then no, it's not going to happen for you. But come, show up and do your part and your life will change.
Folks, there's a freaking guarantee. There's an opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know why, if anyone's listening, they're not already interested. They should be.
And they are. Most of the time, people, like I said, that if this is a seed, if they're listening to this and this is the first time they ever heard that they need to identify and, set an intention and feel a certain way, and they're like, that's weird and I don't want to do that. But if these are people who already seeds have been planted and it's been watered and they're hearing this and they're like, absolutely, it's time.
Harvest.
Done. I'm done feeling this way.
What does the book teach them?
The Art of Starting Over?
Yes.
It's a mindset shift. So I'm not big on mindset. I'm big on mentality. You're changing your mentality. But the book is conscious brain. So mindset is conscious brain. And that's what they get from the book. You're really setting your brain over from a conscious level.
Is it on Audible?
It's not on Audible. I wrote it some years ago before Audible was as big as it is now. And it's easy to get on. But our next book will be on Audible.
The Art of Starting Over, and then Presidential Lifestyle. What's that?
So Presidential Lifestyle is the name of our company. And what we do there, two things. One, we work with CEOs who need to make a big shift in a short amount of time. We help them look at the data in their lives, right? Whether it's their life or the data in their business, and shift from where they are to where they want to be. So we might be looking at the lifestyle, what is blocking them in their life, but we also might be looking at their data in their business. What are your marketing analytics? What are your sales analytics? What are your operations? Do you have a database? I find that CEOs that grow really fast don't have really good operations in place. And they're stressed out and they're burned out because they haven't really put a system in place.
Yeah.
They especially the ones that do a really good job at marketing usually have the worst operations and sales systems in place. They do a really good job at marketing, so they get a lot of people in, but they can't hold them. They don't have that holding power. So they, on the outside, they look successful. This is where the imposter syndrome comes in. On the outside, they look successful, but on the inside, not so much, because the operations are not in place. And the people, because we can come in and we can hypnotize your team and the team will not be blocked. Because one of the things that you also could be dealing with here is that people don't want to pass you up. Because there will be some fear. They won't say this and they might not even know it, but there's some fear to pass you up, right? There could be some people who could do it the way you do it, but they won't want to do that because their job is not to disappoint you. In their heads, they don't want to disappoint you, and they feel like growing past you is disappointing you. Kind of like when you beat all the kids in swimming and then you get disqualified. They want you to win, so they don't compete with you. They probably don't think they can, so they won't. And my job is to come in and erase all of that because none of that matters. All we're trying to do is win.
You're like, you ever see Billions?
Yes.
You're like Wendy at Billions.
Yes. I'm like Wendy and Olivia Pope from Scandal blended together.
Folks, if you guys want to follow her, go to @Kine Corder, KineCorder. You can Google her. She's all over. I appreciate you coming in.
Yes. And also, if anybody is like, yes, right now, you can go to breakthroughtoClarity.com and then it'll guide you to what to do next.
Breakthrough to Clarity? Mm-hmm. BreakthroughtoClarity.com. And folks, I'm going to be doing a session. I should have already done it, but I forget. Maybe subconsciously is why I didn't.
Probably, yeah.
I don't want help. Yeah. Subconsciously, I think I need to lose.
Subconsciously, you feel like you're already there. And so you're like, why am I doing this?
No, not true. I want to do this.
Subconsciously.
Oh, subconsciously.
Consciously.
Yeah. I love this type of shit.
Right.
And I want to see it. And I want to see it work almost like when I see magic, I know it's not true.
Yes.
It's magic, folks. Like, oh, that's impressive. I always giggle and laugh because hey, I know it's not true. Like, you're not magic, dude. and then I finally see it was a fake thumb. Oh, it was a freaking a trick deck of cards. Oh, it was a freaking rigged up wallet. There's always a trick to it. It's not real.
But you still enjoy it.
But I enjoy watching, but I know it's not real. This stuff, it's the opposite. It's like I do believe in it.
Yeah.
I do. I think the mind is the key to everything.
It really is. And it's incredible to watch it happen. And for me, it's incredible to see it happen, to see how somebody comes in and they're one way and they leave and they're another way.
That's what I want to see.
And
the proof.
For wives to call me and say, like, unbelievable. How did this happen? Like, I've been with this man 20 years. Like, those are the stories that I live for. A lady, we have something called Prosperity Club. I usually work with women in Prosperity Club. And I worked with this lady's son. So he went to therapy for a year for OCD, for 1 year. And at the year mark, she was like, I got to do something else. And she was coming to me. And so she's like, I'm having such success. Would you work with my son? This is what I'm telling you. A lot of people have been bringing their children back to me. And so I'm like, I'll do it just because I love you and I've been working with you. I'll do it. So I worked with him 2 sessions. No more OCD, no more washing his hands. She's in tears because she's like, oh, my baby is like cured, it's like healed. And just to see her cry made me like, oh gosh, like I do this every day and it's, it's normal. This is normal for me. But for her, it wasn't normal. So just to see the light in her eyes and to see this little boy, because of what I told him was like, you're so powerful. Look at what you can do. But what if you use that power a different way? And now he knows he's powerful. He knows that he can control this. He can control where he uses that power. So I'm like, what's your superpower? He found his superpower. And then we use that. And I told her to use that. When he's doing it, just use his superpower. And now that's what they focus on, his superpower. But you can't, now that little boy, you're not going to be able to tell him anything when he's 40 years old. Nobody's going to take his power away from him. And he's grown up with it now. And his subconscious brain was shaped early enough for him to know, I am powerful and nobody can take that away from him.
Kine, thanks for coming in. I look forward to our working together.
Yes.
And folks, I will obviously have her back to discuss afterwards because I want to see the before and after.
Yeah. And there's so much that we didn't even touch on. So
I'll bring my wife and have her sit on the couch and I want her to say, I can't believe what you did.
Yes, that would be so good.
But then you're going to get like 10 million people listening to the podcast wanting to see you. You're gonna need to literally like get security.
More security.
There'll be billions.
Yeah,
because as soon as there's some proof, man, people will be like, no shit. Like right now, there's gonna be people listening skeptical. But if I come back and I'm like, dude, look, here's this is just what happened to me, man.
Yeah,
because the problem with not the problem, but the challenge with hypnotherapists and people like that. You can't tell me who you've worked with, or you won't. Yeah,
because we have but they will tell you.
Just I know, like but tell me who it. Let me go talk to him.
Okay, I can have the lady that I just told the story about her son. She would get on the phone right now if I called her. She would tell that story. And the guy
I don't need any, but people do.
People do. The guy that I said his wife called me and said, I've been married to this man for 20 years. I don't even know this man's a totally different man. They renewed their vows. They're falling in love. They've been together since they were in high school. I know he would tell that story. Yes, this is what my wife said. Most people are willing to talk about it once it happens for them because it's so miraculous and it feels so good. You don't even want to hold it in and you want it for the rest of the world. You're like, you shouldn't feel like this. I know we got to stop.
Hey, we weren't counting the bombs and by the way, believe it or not, sometimes no bombs is the best. But but I will say you're one of the longest.
Yeah.
Nice. So there you go. Well, I appreciate you coming in.
I do too.
Folks, go follow her. Go hit her up. #Bomb Squad. If you guys are interested in her company, go check that out. Go help yourself. Breakthrough-to-clarity.com or presidentiallifestyle.com.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Share this out, folks. If it ain't for you, it might be for the person you share it with. Until next time, keep it real.
Dropping bombs with the real Brad Lea. Subscribe now.